All right, here we go. John Gonderpour, Chabot, Las Positas College District, and talking about Wireshark command line tools, making sure they're set up, installed, and testing them. This is in advance of our work this week in my Wireshark class for using the command line tools. So this is a little how-to video in checking that stuff out. So as usual, read the fine manual, RTFM. Read the fine manual. Make sure that they're installed. We're going to check them and run them. We're going to take a look at that on both Mac and Windows. So the Wireshark documentation online, there's links in Appendix D to the sections on all of these tools here: TShark, TCP dump, dump cap, cap infos, rawshark, edit cap, merge cap, text to pcap, and reorder cap. And so that's the first thing for you to have read, really, before doing this. So as part of the regular install, the click-through install, Wireshark installation for both Mac and Windows, I believe it's been the case for some period of time where TShark is automatically checked as a part of that installation on both of these. When you're in the Windows Wireshark installation program, you can see here TShark is by default installed. All the other external capture tools, which we're not necessarily talking about, may or may not be checked. We're interested in the TShark components, but I'm making sure to install these for myself for sure, and then where they're going to go. The Mac installer DMG includes all these things. There's a Wireshark app to drag to applications. There's a README, RTFM. And then there's a package for installing code to make sure that Wireshark runs. There's a package to run code to make sure that Wireshark is in the system path. Now, you should know, what is the system path? Well, if you got the installation done of the current version of Wireshark, checking the path on Windows and Mac, like I was saying, for the Mac, there's the app, just drag and drop, run the chmod, run the add Wireshark to the system path, and then you can check the path inside the bash window, and then we're also subsequently going to check the man pages, and we're going to try to run them. For Mac, I can type in at the prompt for the bash window echo space $path in capital letters, and I get the list delimited by a colon of all the locations here that the operating system will go to look for the command that you want to try to run. This, when the operating system boots up, it has this list and it carries it in its pocket. When you try to run a command, it's going to say, okay, well, let's see, is it here? Or is it here? Is it there? Is it there? Oh, here, applications wireshark.app. And then there's contents and there's resources. That's where the man pages are. There's all these places to look, and then if it can't find that, that's when it's going to whine at you. But I can see by this path command that Wireshark and actually the Wireshark man pages have been added to. So if I go man TShark, I'm going to get the manual page for TShark here. Now, typically there's a -H for help as well. So let's see, let me quit out of there and clear my screen and go TShark -H, and I can see that also then I can get that information this way. The man pages are not going to be in the Windows. We're going to use -H to make sure that we have the help pages for each of our tools in a minute here. So on the Mac side, you can use echo, echo $path, and then check the man page, man TCP dump, man dump cap, man cap WinSS, cap info, edit cap, merge cap. When you get to reorder cap, what you're going to find is there's no man page portion for it. There's only the -H, and the same for Rawshark. So if I go, let me clear this and go man Rawshark, there's no manual entry for that. But if I go Rawshark-H, I'm going to see the manual page for that. So I can verify then that I have all of these installed and that I have the help files available for them. In my class, there's also going to be instructions to some PDFs that contain some practice and some basic usages, some complete commands for each of these. You can go ahead and make sure, try those out, or even just go, T-Shark, and actually going to start capturing on the first available interface. Will that be the one that's actually in use? No, that's where being able to list the interfaces that are available is really useful. Will this tell us which one is actually currently active? Well, that's an interesting question. We'll talk more about that in the lecture. Of course, I could easily see by simply opening Wireshark and maybe generating some packets. If I need to, I could start to see by the spark line which is the active interface, and then I can know which one that I want to use for T-Shark or dump cap, for instance. And the same thing would be true on the Windows side, that I could open Wireshark, I could see by the spark line what's an active interface, and then be able to use that as the argument for my command in the command line tool. So I've verified on the Mac side that I've got stuff in my Echo path. I've checked the man pages, I've checked the apps. I'm good to go for everything I need in order to explore the usage and application of the command line tools. What about the what about the Windows side? Yeah. Well, we want to look at the path, and we want to take a look at our command line, and we want to look at changing directories, and we want to look at the help available for the tools, and then we want to try to run some of those and see how that's going. So on the Windows side, when I'm in the command line, I can use echo space %path colon semicolon equals @ echo period %. And I should get returned then the list of all the paths that are currently on that list that the operating system has, places to look when you are asking for something to run, and it will look in each of those places and see if it can find the command that you're looking to have happen. So let's go over to a Windows 11 machine, Windows 11 Pro, and I'm going to open up the command line here, and I actually want to use a different profile that looks a lot better, and I'm going to type in echo space %. What the heck was all that stuff? Well, that was, look back over there. There we go. I'm going to echo %path colon semicolon equals @ echo period % again. And if the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise, we got file name, directory, or volume label syntax. Oh, I misspelled that, didn't I? So let's call that back up there. Echo dot really simple here, isn't it? There we go. And now actually let me clear the screen. CLS typed up, get the whole thing, take a look at it. So there we go. In this case, this one has already had Wireshark added to the path. Wireshark does not get added to the path automatically with the installation here. There are other instructions that can be followed to add to the path on the Windows side. Well, there's any number of sets of instructions out there and little videos and all kinds of stuff to walk you through the process of installing it. One thing that is the case is that editing the system environment variables is going to look a little bit different on different versions of Windows, but the process is basically the same. Instead of being able to do it simply through the command line here in order to check that the typical instructions have you going and edit the system variables through the control panel. So that amounts to going in, looking at system properties, environmental variables, editing environmental variable, clicking on new, and adding the path where Wireshark is currently installed, which typically is C:\program files \Wireshark. And then in theory, that gives the operating system access to both the Wireshark application and the command line tool applications. So it looks something like either going to or finding, for instance, environmental variables, where are we there? Where I can see the environmental variables, let me double click on that, and that opens up the opportunity to edit an environmental variable. I could click on new, and I've already done that here and added C:\program files \Wireshark. Clicked OK to get out of that, and then I'm going back into my command line here to check and see, well, can I run G-Shark? Let me check first for -8. I've got this microphone in the way of my keyboard here. And we can see, there we go. So the operating system was able to find T-Shark in that path. And I can do the same thing for the rest of the command line tools. And that's what you should do for the rest of the command line tools. TCP dump, dump cap, cap infos, edit cap, merge cap, text to cap, reorder cap, and raw shark. And again, for my students who are in the Wireshark class, looking at the PDFs that have some examples of usage, syntax, try those out, give them a test run, throw it against a wall, see if it sticks. But you've made sure that the path is there, and the help is there, which means you really should be able to run all of those without any trouble. And then you can go ahead and do the work for the labs, for practicing command line tools. So, like I was saying, it's pretty straightforward for the Mac. Your mileage may vary a little bit on the Windows side as to exactly what it looks like to you when you're editing the environmental variables within settings within the control panel. But the process is still the same. You get there, edit environmental variable, add a line, bang, there you go. And then, of course, This is the path to become a certified packet whisperer. And what did we learn on the show tonight? Well, that finding what exists in the path, you've got a command for that in the command line. And then you can check the presence of the help files, both on the Mac and Windows, and try them out, run them up, crank it down till it cracks, then back it off half a turn. And there you go. So, enjoy, and we'll see you on the net.